On this episode of WGTV, certain food additives will be banned starting the 26 to 27 school year.
Some of those food dyes and additives can affect some people with ADHD tendencies in terms of their behavior and ability to focus.
Mr. Toast shares his battle with cancer.
I start my treatments about 8 in the morning, and then by the afternoon, about 1 o'clock, I was dead again. I mean, I was just so tired and starting to feel the effects of it.
And volleyball is ramping up for state.
This is a battle of two of the better teams in the district, and then this year it just happens to be 2 state-ranked teams.
These stories and more on this episode of WGTV.
Good afternoon, Wildcats, and thank you for tuning into this episode of WGTV. Live from the Grove, I'm Jackson Kingerski.
And I'm Olivia Cook.
We have many exciting stories coming up, but first, Olivia is going to catch you up on what's been happening at the Grove. Olivia?
Thanks, Jackson. This week was Suicide Prevention Week at the Grove. Hope Squad students have been out on campus each day hosting fun activities. These activities served as meaningful conversation starters for friends to discuss their emotional well-being. Some activities included shredding your stress, passing along the affirmation, and even making notes of hope. With a week filled of uplifting practices, Hope Squad's goal was to help reduce internal negativity with kindness and joy. With more teenagers turning to e-bikes for transportation and fun, there are growing concerns about how they're being used in public spaces. Here in Prosper, the impact is seen firsthand.
The trend of owning an e-bike rises in popularity, and parks and public spaces suffer under the reckless nature of teenagers. The town of Prosper and the Prosper Police Department have stated that damage to the parks from e-bikes and other vehicles had led to costly repairs. These damages have caused Prosper to pass a new ordinance that states riding is prohibited in certain areas within parks, including playgrounds, pedestrian-only sidewalks, and flower beds.
All right, so it's really not an e-bike ban, but what it does do is it bans all e-bikes, dirt bikes, mopeds, things of that nature from coming onto private property, such as Prosper ISD properties.
With the new ordinance in place, the town of Prosper implements these new rules in hopes to keep repair costs down and the park safe. For WGTV, I'm Sebastian Backus.
Prosper's ordinance is now in full effect, and violators could face fines if caught in restricted areas. Town officials say the goal isn't to stop kids from riding, but to protect shared spaces for everyone. Warm weather is slowly coming to an end as colder temperatures approach. Low pressures arriving from the north will bring in a slight cold front early next week for northern Texans. Temperatures are expected to be in the low 80s starting next week.
Artificial dyes and additives have long stirred debate in the school cafeterias, but now Texas lawmakers are stepping in. A new bill will change what students find in their trays in the years ahead.
This little candy can affect how you perform, how you feel, and possibly how you behave. Brands like Pez produce over 5 billion candies per year and are manufactured in over 80 different countries. What people don't know is it contains red dye 3, a newly banned food additive. Texas Senate Bill 314 is removing specific food additives from school cafeterias starting 2026-2027 school year.
At school, you guys are not going to have access to certain foods and certain dyes and additives that they're not going to be sold on school property. Because there's been emerging concern and research around some of the food additives that are in our food. Specifically, like the ones that have come up with my clients are concerned around ones that are more carcinogens, so ones that, there's some research supporting that they can cause cancer.
While some research points to the potential links with cancer, other argues the biggest impact is with students with conditions like ADHD.
I believe this bill has been created just due to the stigma of dyes and how they are impacting students, ADHD, ADD, everything. While a lot of children have been band-aided by medication, these additives in food are definitely impacting them as well.
The effects of this aren't as far-fetched as you might think. Additives mentioned in the bill have been linked to changes in focus and behavior during school settings.
It caused me a lot of stress and anxiety, and I had really bad behavior when it came to after I ate certain types of candies like Nerds and with like additives in it.
Red dye 3, brominated vegetable oil, and potassium bromate are the main additives listed in the bill and will be pushed out of Texas schools by the 2026-2027 school year. For WGTV, I'm Kendall Barnes.
With the unusual yet impactful effects of these additives, it is important that students will have to say goodbye to these seemingly harmless ingredients next year.
Six Flags Over Texas says goodbye to a classic ride after its 40-plus years of service. The ship-styled feature called the Conquistador recently sailed its last voyage. Six Flags states this is due to an ongoing redevelopment of the park and has publicly bid it farewell. Tomorrow, the Dallas Museum of Art will be hosting a National Hispanic Heritage Month celebration from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The museum will have live music including salsa, merengue, and bachata. They will also be screening Dallas-based filmmaker's short film, followed by a Q&A, and will have tours discussing Hispanic art. If you would like to visit, you can buy tickets at dma.org. Again, that's dma.org.
After a challenging battle with cancer, Mr. Toth is back in the halls of Walnut Grove. Christopher Munchmeyer has the story on his journey and the family support that got him through it.
So I think in that regard, it's kind of like a roller coaster because like you would start getting some hope, feeling back to normal, but then you knew like that next cycle was coming, you know, down the road. And so you knew kind of what that was going to do to your body and your mind and stuff like that.
Mr. Toth is cancer-free. After having a cancerous tumor in his abdomen, he is finally back at the Grove. Him and his family have been through a roller coaster of emotions, battling to stay positive and resilient.
When we took our seniors, you know, it was a busy day at Six Flags, and so we only were able to ride 3 rides. But yeah, so I felt fine, went home that night and ate dinner and felt good going to bed. And then, like I said, all of a sudden the next day I woke up and it was just like this awful pain in my stomach that just would not go away.
Mr. Toth's diagnosis was a battle not only for him, but his family, and they stood by him through every treatment.
He doesn't like to be the center of attention, but this time he was like, I'm going to ring that bell and I'm going to ring it hard. So he ended up walking down the hallway and they were playing the Eye of the Tiger. So it was emotional to see he had put up such a good fight and he was finally to the end.
The Toth family was devastated by the news, especially Camden. Yet she helped him keep his fighting spirit.
I stayed with them in the hospital for a couple of days and I wasn't really at school because I just wanted to be there and I didn't want to miss out on like what I heard, like what was going on. And so I just really supported them. I feel like with my personality and just like being outgoing and all, I had a sense in me that he was going to be okay and that I didn't need to worry and I just needed to be a light for them and like be there for them.
Mr. Toth had 20 sessions of treatment for a tumor that was the size of a softball. Ringing the cancer-free bell, he is now back to being at the Grove full-time. For WGTV, I'm Christopher Munchmeyer.
These past 2 weeks, the Grove has been giving a warm welcome back to Mr. Toth for him to enjoy the rest of the 25-26 school year. And speaking of this school year, Wildcat Athletics are finally in the swing of their seasons. Austin Cunningham is in studio to give you your sports recap.
Thanks, Jackson. Let's get straight into it with the return of the top 3 moments from around the Grove, highlighting the best of Wildcat Athletics. The big play starts here as number 31, Alex Hatcher, reads the play perfectly, picks it off, and takes it the distance for a pick 6. With that play, Hatcher not only stole the ball from Emerson, he also stole the number 3 spot in this week's top 3. Coming in at number 2, we're on the court with girls volleyball. Watch this connection. Number 11, Taylor Kelly, comes up with the perfect set for Haley Claypool, who climbs the ladder and slams it down, sealing the point for the Wildcats, who'd go on to sweep Greenville 3-0. Hatcher's takeaway wasn't the only big play from a defense that owned homecoming night. Watch this. Number 1 takes us to the gridiron, where Walnut Grove took on Emerson. Watch linebacker Keller Pittenger drop into coverage, read the quarterback's eyes, and makes him pay with the big takeaway. Tonight, volleyball has their second district game, where the girls are working hard to secure their spot in the playoffs. Ryan Shelton digs into how they're setting up this season.
Last year, Wildcat Volleyball made it to the second round of state.
I feel like we are preparing the correct way. We're having competitive practices, competitive matches, and just building a lot of momentum. It doesn't necessarily matter about Lovejoy, it just matters about building momentum into the second round of districts and making sure we peak at the right time, which should be at the start of playoffs.
But this year, their path to state is a little different.
So they essentially adopted the football playoff bracket or playoff system. So your final 4 teams, the 2 biggest enrollment numbers go Division I, the 2 smallest enrollment numbers go Division II, and then you essentially play out 2 separate state brackets. So at the 5A level, we'll have 2 state champions. So it's 1 less match throughout the bracket, but half the competition. Where we fall compared to teams like McKinney North or Melissa doesn't really matter. It's only where we fall compared to Lovejoy.
Because of the split divisions, the Wildcats have a distinct advantage in their last year of 5A state competition.
We're really working hard to stay disciplined and just play our own game against them. And I'm really confident in how we're going to do in state, so I'm really excited.
This new bracket structure leaves the Wildcats hopeful for this season. For WGTV, I'm Ryan Shelton.
If you would like to support the Wildcats, volleyball will be playing at home tonight against Lovejoy at 5 o'clock. That's all for your sports recap. For WGTV, I'm Austin Cunningham. Back to you, Olivia and Jackson.
Thank you, Austin. That's all we have for today's episode. For WGTV, I'm Olivia Cook.
And I'm Jackson Kingerski. Thanks for watching, and remember, Wildcats, set the standard.